Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast, number 186. Basically confirming fourth place. At least Benfica didn't celebrate in our backyard. But we'll get into it. Let me start off with the panel, starting off with the Patron, Steph. Steph, how you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm kind of upset because we could have won the game easily. But we'll talk about the game, of course. But I feel that we achieved one objective, which was not to let our rivals celebrate the championship in our own turf.
I thought it was me.
No, but it's a him thing.
There we go.
You're
back.
Oh, good eye.
It's
He's on that Bruno Mascarenhas dial-up shit.
Yeah, fuck. And we screwed up in not winning the game, which it was just a few seconds away, and we'll talk about it in more detail. Other than that, we did great in the modalities, and I'm pretty sure between me and Chris, we'll talk about it in more detail.
Exactly. Speaking of, let's go straight into Chris. Chris, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Honestly, I guess just to briefly overview the game, just I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised, kind of how well it was going almost.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that it eventually just kind of fell apart. But yeah, I guess, as Steph alluded to, the ultimate goal was achieved, which was just don't have the party happen there. There would have been some fucking scenes, though, I will say, because there was scenes before the game. So if they were trying to celebrate in there would have been some scenes again. So we were robbed of some battle content, but we still got a fair amount, I guess.
Very true. Last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend, Rich. Rich, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good. Yeah, ultimate goal kind of achieved. We didn't let them party in our own backyard. We could have just turned the sprinklers on like they did to Porto, to be fair, if we really wanted to, and shut off all the lights if we wanted to be petty. But yeah, I feel like this game was a perfect summation of the season. It was all going so well until suddenly it was not going well. It was 2-0 going into half, and I was baffled. I'm like, I am not going to complain. Where has this been? And then as the second half kind of went on, I was like, oh, I'm not liking this.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, we'll get into it in just a sec. Follow myself there. Shout out to Sam, who couldn't make it, of course, to the After Dark episodes. And before we go straight into the game, we're plugging it away as always. Rich, my man, I'm passing it off to you, bro.
We gained some ground this week. We gained like 10 subs off me plugging it under that viral tweet.
Facts. By the way, FIFA, drop Richard your a fucking bag already, bro.
FIFA's not in the business of giving people money. They're usually in the business of taking the money. But yeah, so we're about 30 I think we're less than 40 off now. I think we're closer to like 30 now from hitting 1,000 subscribers. You can just subscribe to the channel and you will have a chance to win a free, emphasis on the word free, that's the best price, Sporting shirt from Loja Verde. We will cover the shipping, all the taxes, all the import costs, and the actual cost of the shirt. One of the 4 or 5 if you want a goalie kit and you're a weird Adan stand, go nuts. But yeah, all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, screenshot it, and reply to the pinned tweet on our Twitter at Sporting160_EN.
Facts. I expect to see. I want to say by the end of the season, but it's coming. Maybe by the start of next season, I expect to see 1,000 subs.
That'd be
we'll
nice.
extend it through the summer. New deadline.
We'll extend. Well, yeah, we're gonna extend.
That was the original goal, but sometimes
we were on pace to hit it at one point, and then we kind of slowed down. We had a couple surges.
I blame Sporting, right? I'm gonna be honest. I blame Sporting.
I agree.
Like,
when we were in Europe, like when we were in Liga Europa and playing like decent teams, we kept getting little surges here and there, and because the team had nothing to play for by the middle of by early May, it kind of fucked us.
Yeah,
because we couldn't scam it.
Win some, you lose some.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
that's what we got for supporting this team.
for supporting. Let's jump into the Benfica game right away. We'll leave Maritimu's debacle later, even though it's some good talking points. I think
that's a fun game, yeah.
11 was as followed: Franco Israel in net, with Adan getting a red against Maritimu. Nuno Santos, Inácio, Quach, Diomande, and Isgaio in the back line. Murita Ugarte in the middle with Pot, Trincão, and Marcus Edwards up top. Substitutions of Paulinho, Matheus Reis, Bellerin, Asugu, and Artur. Benfica's lineup was they had Vlacadimo Jeanette, Arsens, Tony Silva, Otamendi, Grimaldo in the back line, João Mario, João Neves, Chiquinho, David Neres in the midfield, Rafa, Gonçalo Ramos up top, Ba, Guedes, Musa, Fiorentino, and Ristic coming in. 2-2 draw. Chris, I'll start it with you because you're on the very top. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, as I kind of alluded to, I was kind of pleasantly surprised how the first, I guess I'll just say the whole first half, right? Especially like even through 20 minutes, we were on top of them. They had the one chance where Israel kind of came, stopped. Rafa blew the header, but like it was like a sketchy moment. But to be honest, it was the only sketchy moment in my opinion because Benfica just didn't really create that many, goal scoring opportunities, chances around the box, shots, forcing saves. Like it just wasn't happening. So he was able to kind of. I saw people like were saying like, oh, like great game for Israel. It's like to be fair, he didn't really do anything. And the one time he did do something, they ultimately scored immediately after that. So, to be fair, not fully his fault, right? But, like, the great Israel game, I'm just going to say, like, I'm not going to endorse that. This was just kind of like a nothing Israel game, to be fair. But, I guess he could have completely shit the bed in the big moment. He is called upon in big moments, to be fair. And he definitely is, like, to be fair, not ready. But he's just kind of forced out there because we don't have anybody else really. And yeah, we took the initiative, and I'm not going to say like maybe a 2-0 lead was deserved a half, but I would say the 1-0 lead was definitely deserved. To go up 2-0 almost immediately after was such a good treat, and I was like thinking like like there's like we've got this actually. Like I'm pretty sure we've got this. I think it's definitely not celebrating here. But, like, it honestly looked like shit. Like, they might just pack it up and just say, like, we're focusing on the Santa Clara game, Like, we're not going to try to, like, we're not going to lose anything here, as far as, like, players and stuff, like, health-wise. But, yeah, they kind of got lucky, sort of, to get back into the game the way that they did. It's a nice header, right, to be fair, but he's completely unmarked. Diamande's on the ground. Esgaio's completely switched off. And I still feel like he just kind of threw his head at it, and I don't, like, do you think he meant to, like, do that exactly how he did it? Because it just kind of looked a little weird to me, but it was, in the end, a great finish all the way to the opposite side. And then that kind of set them in motion. They obviously had all the initiative going into that moment. They had all the pressure because Sporting just basically didn't really show up in the second half. But they were holding on for sure. And then that moment happens, and then I'm just like, you kind of felt that the 2-2 was coming. I'm actually like the way that it did happen is incredibly disappointing. We'll get into the specifics after, but like to concede in the 93rd off of a set play that ping pongs around like that is just
brutal,
shitty.
Bro, to this point we might as well just get into it now because honestly after the game, like or during that course, I'm starting to think like is it just the keepers? Do we start looking at Vital and the goalkeeper coaches? Because how many points between us? Okay, Israel he barely plays, but between Franco and Adan, how many points have we dropped because of them? Because of goalkeeping errors? Personally, in my opinion, that second goal is 90% Franco's fault. How are you a professional keeper coming out of goal like that? That's ridiculous.
I think that I think that he's actually very like the ping ponging around was actually the best possible outcome because they could have just immediately scored off the first header, or maybe like a header and then back across for like an immediate goal. Because Israel is just so. I mean, it's like a ball that well, first off, there's guys unmarked, like so.
Yeah.
Oh, they left so many guys open.
You can blame that on the keeper, kind of, right? Like, it's his responsibility to organize how he wants like his wall, how he wants marking, etc. Like, so I think that's kind of like an unspoken Israel error that there's just guys free back there. Then he comes, then he doesn't come again. That's a common theme I think we're seeing. Is he has no idea how to come out of the goal. If you remember the Marseille game, the corner kick that we conceded, bro, was just shocking goalkeeping.
Yeah. He gives me Ricardo and Patricio vibes.
He's just not ready. I just maybe he's not ready. Like I don't know, man. It seems kind of stupid that the Israel experiment is even occurring, to be honest. But
yeah,
like he's literally not a proven goalie at this level. Like,
no,
it's not that hard to just get a goalie that is at least proven at this level. Like,
I can't remember if we bought him off Juve or if he came on a free, but I feel like we bought him.
We bought like 60% of his pass for like 600K.
600K or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
I mean, why? We have Diego Calais just waiting in the.
I'm surprised we saw
like,
zero.
Sign a serious goalie, man, from like another club in the first division. I don't know, man. I think it's the goalie situation.
I don't know why they would go after the guy from who's the guy from Gil Vicente that's played very well.
Andrew.
Look at Porto, man. They're just like, oh, we just bought like the fifth best player and the fifth best keeper in the league, and he'll just sit here. We don't give a fuck. You know?
Even the guy from like Family Cow, Douglas or whatever, like he's not even
Luis Jr. or something like that. He's sick too.
He's not too bad either. Like there's guys out there like you could.
Does Benfica still have that former Boavista keeper?
Health and Light or whatever.
Yeah, it's like I just don't get how we can't just get like a serious goalie, man.
I'm with you though too. Like, look at Porto. Porto signed Claudio Ramos like 5 years ago. Still there, by the way, about to renew his contract. They just signed Samuel Portugal from Portimonense. You know what I mean? It's like
they have Diogo Costa.
We barely have one serious.
And they have Diogo Costa.
And don't they have the Marchesine still too?
Like we used to have.
I think they might have sold them.
I wouldn't shock me if he was still there. It wouldn't have shocked me if he was still there.
We used to have like serviceable veteran backups, but we haven't, in a while.
Exactly. I mean, right now the best choice for a Celine
Adán should be the serviceable backup.
Is Adán. Yeah. Exactly.
This is literally the first time he's been like a starter in his career. He's like 35.
And fair enough. He's won a league title.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's been a disaster at Sporting. It hasn't. He's won us points too, but in terms of this season, he's lost us a lot of points.
He's been too hot and cold this season to justify being undisputed starter heading into next season. That's my opinion.
The only other challenger is this guy. So I mean,
God help us.
That's true too. And a kid from the B team that clearly the coaches don't want to put through yet.
Yeah, who's literally like 17. Who's like a minor.
Yeah, exactly. Who's not ready yet. Exactly.
He's literally a high schooler. Like
And after all the Adán slander that I've done and that I continue to do, I think we win this game with Adán in net, which is
I think at the very least it's minimum like equal result. I don't know. At minimum, I do think we might scrape by and get the win.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'd see, right? Like we'll never know now.
Yeah, we'll never know now.
Knowing is only half the battle.
I'm still of the opinion that or I'll quickly give my 2 cents. I feel a little disappointed on how we came out the second half. I don't know who to blame, whether it's Amorim or it's the players. Obviously, I put it on both because Amorim, he made stupid substitutions, and I'm sure we'll get into that as well. But at the same time, it's like the players out there have to play. I
wonder what Artur Gomes has on Ruben Amorim to get this much playing time. I've not been impressed with them. I
haven't been impressed since day Dada. Like, he had that one run against Tottenham, and all of a sudden he has a career.
He had a run. He had the goal against Tottenham. Had a couple like decent games after, and that was it. Like he peaked for a 2-week span in like October. Like,
And I'm personally, I think you're being even generous saying he had decent games after that. I thought he was, from my memory, he's just been shit.
he had two
it's it's more like a decent moment, like within a specific game.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they're throwing him everywhere. I feel for him at the same time. Like, he's a left winger and he's been playing right back at times. You know what I mean? So it's clear that this was a purchase. I don't know if it was okayed by Amorim or not, but
I
was a purchase
I think it definitely
just to get bodies.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
Who knows? But nonetheless, the substitutions poor. I think they fucked the game up. But even that whole second half, we were poor in general.
The team folded in the second half.
Amorim's not at fault for Paulinho again. Again, one-on-one with the keeper. Okay, you did okay to get rid of the defender. Fair enough. But he shoots it right at him.
Well, he got rid of he didn't want to shoot with his right foot, obviously.
Yeah.
He's the reverse.
And then he puts it to his left, and it's just such a... First off, it's like a little bit stuck under his feet still. And then it's just not a good shot at all. And by the way, that was like our only chance of the whole second half. It's like, that's like the killer moment.
That
was the Ronaldo, the famous meme, one chance, bang. Like, dude, he's the opposite of that, bro.
That was almost a carbon copy of the chance against Arsenal, which would have made it, I think, 3-0 or 3-1 or whatever.
He's more like a 12 chances bang kind of guy.
Yeah, that's like that's a carbon copy of that moment. If he puts that away, that game is put.
It's not his fault, obviously, but it's just like, oh my god, dude! If you put
when you have hindsight after the fact, like if he scores that, the game's probably done and dusted, and you're just kind of cruising at that point. And no, we couldn't do that because why in God's name could we have nice things?
I just feel like it's too easy of a save for him to fuck that up.
Make the keeper work harder.
Flaco Dimos basically, bro, it was like I was watching hockey. Put the pads down, bro. You know what I mean? Like it was a pad save. You know, like I find that disgraceful, to be honest, as a striker. Not to shit on Paulinho. I'm not saying it's Paulinho's fault we lost, but that goal would have won us the game.
We didn't even lose. It just felt like a loss.
Like a lot of these draws this season have felt,
to
be honest, like the Juve, for example, not the, but anyways, the last thing I wanted to mention is Ishgayu. That first half from Ishgayu, oh my fucking god, incredible.
He looked amazing in the first half. He was taking guys on.
He had a nice shot on
almost had a goal. Exactly.
Like, holy shit.
He was the one that really started rallying the boys forward. I mean, that first half, like Chris, you mentioned 1-0.
Here's the thing. I didn't think Bellerin came in the game bad though. Either.
No, he didn't.
I thought Bellerin was okay when he came in as well.
He played well.
I really somebody gave him fucking Michael's secret stuff from Space Jam. Bro, before the game.
There was like a movement between Edwards and Ishgayu where Edwards put Ishgayu through on net or some shit like that, and then Ishgayu just tried to cut the ball in. Bro, it was they were connecting well. I mean,
Pot did miss from right, dude. Pot did miss from right.
Pot missed a wide open net because he missed the fucking ball.
And that's the last point I was gonna get to. I feel like that first half we could have been up 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That first half was total domination. For us to give away this game with that poor second half, it's just it leaves a bad taste in my mouth on top of that because one, they came back 2-0 to 2-2, so now their morale is all like, fuck you, Sporting, But they weren't even that great. You're talking about these guys spent like hundreds of millions of euros on this team to win the Portuguese league on the very last day. They didn't look that good, bro. I know João Neves got the goal, so then everybody's fucking, bigging him up. But what the fuck did that kid do that game? Nothing. He tried to force like several through balls that like would just that never had a chance. Yeah. And João Mario, I've never seen this guy bicker before ever in his life. Now that he's at Benfica, he thinks he has a fucking big mouth or some shit. I was so happy to see him gone in the second. But yeah, overall, I didn't think they were that great. So it's disappointing, this result in my eyes. We could have at least ended it with a high, but like the season, with a high.
We still would have finished fourth, but would have at least made Braga think about it on the last day.
Exactly. We'd have
instead it's game. Every fan's open games. The tickets are free, and it's just a party.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Rich, go ahead, bro. What were your thoughts?
Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this game sums up our season perfectly. It was going so well until it wasn't. Yeah, I felt we could have easily been up. I think 2-0 was a fair scoreline going into the second half. We maybe should have had one more off that pot chance where he just missed the fucking ball on a wide open net. Really no complaints. I thought Gaio got some of Michael's secret stuff in Space Jam before the first half because he was fucking sicko mode. I was very impressed with him. I thought he had a good game, and like you guys said, I thought Bellerin as well when he came in looked good as well. Second half was just they folded like a fucking accordion. They just gave up. It was so sad. I don't agree with the subs. I thought Asugo coming in at that point was maybe a bit sus, but whatever. You need a midfielder to come in. It is what it is. The one that baffled me was Artur. I thought that was the last guy who should be coming in because he's not a natural defender and he's defensive liability. So don't put the defensive liability on the field when you're defending a lead. Yeah, I'm just glad they didn't win in our stadium. I would have happily endorsed them turning on the sprinklers and shutting off the lights like Benfica did last year to Porto or whenever they did that. We did get robbed, like Chris said, of some shenanigans near the end. There was alleged stuff that Jubileo was going to storm the fucking pitch, which would have made for some fucking scenes. I remember I didn't see that before the game. My dad told me like just before kickoff, he goes, "Yo, you heard Jubileo just storm the pitch?" I'm like, that's probably not what you want to do when you're already at odds with the administration, but go for it. Fuck it. Like, if you're going to commit to the bit, commit to the bit. I respect the hustle or lack thereof, as I always say. Fucking, yeah, that would have been some fun content, and it would have made this a very entertaining show. But we were, in a way, sadly robbed of that. The greater good did prevail, though, I suppose.
Yeah. Facts. Steph, I'm gonna unmute you so you're not, driving in. But what were your? Oh, I can't unmute you. Never mind. What were your thoughts on this game, bro?
Well, I'm sorry about the darkness, but I'm driving home, so that's why.
No problem.
I had a bad connection. I was about to do the podcast from my office, but apparently driving is a better connection. What can I tell you? I don't get this shit. But I'm on the same boat as everybody else. At the beginning of the game, before the game started, I was happy with the tie. To me, the number one objective was for Benfica not to celebrate in our stadium. But then when we were up to nothing, I even called my father in Portugal, and I said, "It's looking good. It looks like we're gonna win 4-0 or something." And my father was like, "Yeah, it's looking good." And then, like Rich said, and Chris and you, Danny, the second half, it's like Mourinho gave the opposite speech, which was, "Don't play anything. Let's fuck it up and let's fold and let's just give them the game." And I was like speechless. I'm like, "Where's my Sporting from the first half? What happened?" And I know people say, "Probably they're losing something. They have to go after the game." I agree. But what about counterattack? Where the fuck was it? And then there's one thing that people need to remember. Portuguese teams cannot play like Italians. Italians, they're master in playing defense. But we're not that good in playing defense. Every time a Portuguese team decides to play defense, even the national team, when they play defense, we suck. Our best ability is to play offense. And Ruben Amorim, to me, gave the game away to Benfica. It's that simple. And it pissed me off because we had a chance to win the game. It didn't matter, like Chris said. I don't see Braga losing at home against Paços Ferreira, which they got demoted to the second division. But it was just the sense that we haven't won against them for 9 games. So we had the golden opportunity to win this game, and we gave up in the second half. And that pisses me off. The subs were terrible. Izugu is not ready for the A team. To tell the truth, I don't think he'll be ready for the 18. I hope I'm wrong, but so far, every time he's come to the pitch,
Here's the
he
thing:
shows a.
Amorim always insists on using him at such critical moments.
Yeah.
It's like, why, bro? Why?
Why are you throwing this kid to the wolves every week?
I don't know, man.
Exactly. Because he suffers of anxiety in big games. He always fucks it up. There's no other way to say it. And then Paulinho, like everyone said, what the fuck? I'm expecting more from him. Got to put it away. I mean, like Danny said, that was a hockey play. I mean, the goalie from Benfica barely saved it. He twisted his left feet like, oh, it's nothing. I'll just give it this way. And it could have been 3-0, and the game would have been done. And then Potti also he missed a great opportunity too in the first half. And that's why we haven't won games. We didn't win against Porto. We didn't win against Benfica. And Braga, we could have won the first game at Braga. We won. We're winning 1-0. They tied 1-1. We're winning 2-1. They tied 2-2. We're winning 3-1 with a few minutes left. And what happened? They tied 3-3. We lost 2 points. The first game against Chaves at home, we lost 3 points. The game against Boavista, we lost 3 points. The third place, we didn't get it because of this tie. That's not what I'm saying. We lost the third place a long time ago with silly games.
We were out of the title race by fucking like November. Like we were out of everything.
If we would,
November.
yeah. If we would have done our obligation, which was to be more better against the so-called smaller teams, we would have been in the title race, or at least guaranteed the third place. But now we're in the Liga, and we haven't won shit. And in the A team and female team and the youth teams, because the youth teams apparently the most important thing is a formação. The culture of winning titles is out the window. It doesn't matter, and I hate that about my new Sporting, because if you don't cultivate a culture of winning, of being the champion, and the number one priority is formar jogadores, because that's all Amorim said the whole year. Os jogadores é para ser formados. But if you don't cultivate that winning mentality, we're not forcing our players to go to the maximum, to require more from them, because at the end of the day, they'll think like this. It's okay if we don't win, porque aqui é para formar jogadores. And that's the wrong approach.
Yeah, 1,000% agree. Just a few questions here on the chat that I want to mention. First one comes from James. Legality of the equalizer. A lot of it was made of Coates. I don't want to say throwing himself to the floor, but
Sporting even made a statement. I mean, the board's position seems to be that this goal should have been ruled out.
What were your thoughts on that, Chris?
I don't think it's a foul. I don't think there's a foul.
Or offside. I've seen people claiming Florentino was offside as well.
That's never gonna get called.
No.
When there's a cross that goes to someone completely different, who like Florentino's position is reset on that new header, right? So he ends up getting near the play afterwards, but that
because
initial cross
even though he's offside at that initial ball.
Yeah, and I guess they're gonna say like, oh, he interfered with Coates, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think that he interfered with Coates, because Coates wasn't even directly involved with the play, nor was it a foul. So it just feels like crying, ref crying, classic to-go ref crying, and I'm not gonna get behind that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with Chris. Like, yes, Florentino's offside at the initial ball, but he doesn't touch the initial ball, which people seem to miss in the offside rule suddenly. And then when the piece of contact's made, he's already back in an onside position. And I don't really think it's a foul. And if it's a foul, it's a very, very, very soft foul.
It can't be called. That can't be called. He doesn't even grab him or anything.
That's never a foul to me.
I was actually surprised by how little it was. Because the way with the Coates was protesting and just continuing to sit on the ground, you would have thought, like, I'm really confident that the VAR is going to look at this.
Overturn this.
Yeah.
Dude, they're like on no planet are they ever.
It looks bad. It looked like kind of bad on like just initial like regular speed, real time. At like a certain angle, then you start to see like the other angles at like a slower pace, and you're like, no, there's nothing there. Like
they just bump bodies and he just falls over. Really,
you're gonna have it in the chaos that is world soccer. You're gonna
they
have
lightly block, they like brush bodies,
and especially in a derby, bro. You're not don't expect to get those.
The 94th minute, okay, and let's just say everything happens the same. Okay, get up, man. Get up. Keep playing.
Exactly.
The play continues.
You play to the
10 seconds.
whistle.
The play goes on for 10 more seconds. He's just sitting there.
Yeah.
You play to the fucking whistle.
And the thing is,
I don't think it's a foul at all. I mean, block is a corner kick and so on and so on. I agree 1,000% with Chris, Richard, and Dan. But I think it's an offside. I've seen a lot of bullshit offsides in this league. 2 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 12 centimeters, and all of a sudden, it's not an offside? Yes, it's a fucking offside. Put the line, and you'll see it's a fucking offside all day long. Don't tell me it's not an offside. It is an offside. To me, it is a clear offside because I saw it slowly in replay, and it's an offside. But and they've canceled some of our goals by 12 centimeters, even 6, I believe. One goal was 6 centimeters. So don't tell me it was not offside. It was offside. But at the end of the day, I'm not upset about that goal. I'm more upset about Pauline missing a goal and Pot missing goals, and Artur missing goals.
Yeah, bro. And
there's a lot of people that look horrible in this play. Israel looks horrible. Diamande looks horrible. Completely whiffs on the header. Isugu doesn't necessarily look horrible, but if he can just clear that off the line a little bit harder or a little bit to the side, like kind of just sweep it away from the goal instead of just right back into the middle, maybe it's different. Israel kind of makes a good save, but I was actually just looking at the replay a second ago on the other screen. I actually don't know if he saves it. I think it might hit Paulinho in the chest.
Paulinho.
I'm not sure. I think it might have been
Paulinho. Okay, so
Paulinho was the goalkeeper in that play, bro. He should have been the
played
one
a goal from last game. They should have kept
exactly.
Paulinho in.
So so I actually thought Israel might have made like a great save, but nah.
It looks like at like real speed.
What a shit house.
But in slow mo, you look and I think it does.
Yeah, and Coates as well. You know, just chilling, watching it, taking it in.
He's sat like me at home.
Perfect view of it. My thing with that too is like this isn't the first time Coates has done that, and more often than not, he never gets these calls.
No, he's like 0 for 20 lifetime.
Like he never gets them. So like, why you continue doing them? What's the point?
I mean, just think
of the
back,
shots you don't take, brother.
Yeah, facts.
VAR really is never going to overturn a goal for something that isn't directly related. Like, even if there's grabbing and shirt grabbing in the box, if another guy who heads it or whatever, like, they never overturn it, like unless the guy who scores is getting
unless
grabbed,
it's one of the causes of the goal.
I mean, how many times have you seen a goal being scored and then a minute and a half later, the VAR calls the referee on the pitch and they review the play from 20 passes ago and they cancel the goal.
Yeah, to be fair, they were actually reviewing it for a while. So I guess what they were determining was if Florentino was involved in the play enough. I guess. Right?
Yeah, was the initial play like? Does he make contact on the initial play while he's offside?
But here's the thing: if you're going to potentially argue maybe Coates was going to challenge for that, I'm pretty sure Coates is facing the ball. So, like, if he's going to turn and run, it's not like he's obstructed because he's chasing the ball or he's moving to head it or something. I don't know. I think it's a very.
I mean, Coates is a big guy. So if
maybe he was about to turn, but
what's his name? Fiorentino. Is that his name?
Florentino, I think.
Florentino. If Florentino was blocking him and Coates is such a big guy, he could have blocked him too. What the hell? It goes both ways.
Yeah. I can't get behind this one. I really don't think he's involved in the play. And plus, they're never going to overturn 94th minute goal for anyone really on that. I don't think.
Never with the offside. That's all. Besides the foul, I'm not really caught. Yeah. It wasn't a foul. But the offside, it was obvious to me. It was. If you go to the beginning of the play, it is an offside. But I get it. Benfica had to tie the game, so the morale was up. But let's be frank. Who the hell thinks Benfica who's at home against Santa Clara? It's uma filial do Benfica.
Got 6-0 written.
Do you believe in miracles?
and the most. Come on, we all know they're going to lose like 4 or 5-0. And go still going to win.
If Benfica loses that game, they're going to torch the Estadio.
No, they're not going to lose the game, bro. Come on.
0-0 draw in Porto.
0-0 draw and Porto wins.
The filial number 12 or 14 Benfica, they still get money from Benfica and shit. Are you kidding me? They're not going to.
Even if Santa Clara weren't already relegated, even if they needed a win to save themselves, they still would have lost this game.
They still would have
lost.
About that. But they're already relegated, so it's a done deal.
Exactly.
In a make-believe world, if Santa Clara pulled off the impossible, I think they would burn down the Estadio de Luz. I think it would make Alcochete look like a fucking minor.
I also think they would burn down the Stadium Açores. I forget what it's called now. I think the
only Santa Clara winning against Benfica. I mean, I hate to be so malicious, but in Portuguese foodie, everything happens. If it's Portuguese involved, with a third person bribing them with lots of money. That's the only reason. The only way.
It doesn't need to be money. Use women and watches are things, too. Money isn't everything for some refs.
Fruta.
Fruta. There you go.
Last question. I think Dave brings up a good point. I feel like me and Dave might only be like the last two pro Amorim guys around. But he's asking, was this more of a signal from Amorim to the SAD class board? Overall, he cannot be happy with selling players of gran calidad, no? Like, meaning that second half, the substitutions. I mean, I think it's a bit of a stretch, but something to be considered at least, right?
That's the options he's got, right? Like, let's look at the sub. So Paulinho's your number one striker traditionally, so that's a wash already. Bellerin came from Barcelona, is not a bad player. I call that a wash. I think you can argue Artur and Asugo should not be on the bench. And you could maybe make a case for Mateus Reis just because he's had an off season, but I would still be fine. So 2 out of your 3 subs, I don't think have any business being there, realistically.
Yeah, but there's nobody better, really.
There's no one. Like we said, there's no one there. This team has almost no depth, and yet him and Hobb out Braganza being hurt all season. That does kill your midfield depth quite a bit, right? Because you imagine he would have had significant minutes this season,
for sure.
Especially with Mateus Nunes having been sold. So you would figure Braganza would fill in that role. At the end of the day, you should still somewhat account for an injury happening, and hopefully you have a decent backup. And the ones they've had all season just have not been up to par for the most part, save for a couple of moments.
Well, but I guess it was supposed to be the backup for Morita.
Yeah.
But we never had a really great backup for Ugarte. And you can expect Ugarte to play 50-something games. It's impossible. So that's Izugu was supposed to be his backup, but he wasn't ready. And he's still not ready.
I think, too, they've not put Asugo in any positions to actually succeed either. It's always been, let's just toss him to the Wolves. He hasn't
started a lot of games.
He hasn't started a lot of games. He always gets, it's almost like they just throw him into the worst situations possible for like an 18-year-old sometimes. And like some guys swim great, some guys sink. I think he's a guy who needs to be helped along a little bit more. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't do that to your young guys, especially if you see something in them. You got to show some leeway with them and show some understanding with a guy like that. Don't just throw him to the fucking Wolves every week and then be surprised when he's anxious and he's not performing like you would hope.
Our biggest Achilles for me was the striker. We didn't have a good enough backup. Shirmiti was not the answer. Well, is Shirmiti capable of becoming a great striker? Yes, but he's too green. We all agree on that. And then we didn't have a great backup for Morita. And also, Zgaia was left by himself. Berlin, what the fuck his name is, wasn't good enough as Bogle. And that sums it up. But to tell the truth, there's nothing could have done with Pelinha and o brasileiro, Matheus Nunes, because it was their time to leave. They wanted to make their jump and make money. And it's kind of hard for clubs to hold players when they say, hey, I really want to go. So it's just the way it is.
It's the way it's going to be for until the league ever gets his head out of its ass, right? Like until Portuguese football actually wants to move forward, people want to actually modernize shit. That's going to be the model. Is you have to sell guys.
Yeah, I mean,
you just don't have enough external revenue coming into the club.
I hate to look at Sporting. We spread too thin. We have, and I don't want to be the one saying this, but I'm going to say it, and a lot of people disagree with me, which is fine. But we spread too thin. We have modalities that we're just playing for playing. We're not fighting for titles. And for me, it's like this. If we can save some money with those modalities, they're not playing for titles, I don't think it should exist. I'm just going to call it the way it is.
How many Dodge do we actually have? Because have a Lily Dodge I didn't even know existed.
They have like 55.
Jesus Christ.
We have modalities that jogamos só para jogar. That's just to say we have them. Do they cost a lot of money? No.
Probably not in the grand scheme of things. Probably not.
But the problem is they don't make enough money.
No, they don't. They bring your return, so you're just losing money on some of these.
We don't have enough revenue, enough sponsors to supplement all the modalities we have. We all in a hole financially. And then our soccer team suffers because the funding, we don't have enough for good players and for good salaries. And I hate to say it, but we'll never win a Champions League, never in our lifetime.
Oh, of course. But do you know what we do have money for stuff?
Conference League.
Aumente de salário, caralho. Como sempre.
But you know what? I'm thinking about that. Imagine yourself as president of Sporting.
Yeah.
And then your players make far more money than you. And he was not even making $250. I'm not against the $250, how much he's going to make, actually. I think that's how we should make that money. I'm not against it. The thing is, you're asking for money when we're not even the timing is off. That's all it is.
It's the timing that pissed me off.
Because the president of Sporting should be making at least $250. It's not a lot of money for all the headaches he's getting. But why have 7 vice presidents? Again, I'm going to talk about that. Why the fuck do you have so many vice presidents? They could stream down the amounts of vice presidents they have, dirigents they have, and then that could actually mean that they could have more employees with more low-income salaries.
You cut out 3 vice presidents at let's say they're all making $100,000 each. That's $300,000. That's a player on your team right there. That's a roster player.
Well, I wouldn't even say a player. I'll say reinvest that into the marketing team that's pretty much gone stagnant. We keep doing at first innovative as fuck, right? Backstage Sporting.
They were trying a lot of cool things that no one was really trying.
And maybe it has something to do with results. They don't want to put out more content because of that. I would get that too, but. We're still not perfect. I think we might be the best in Portugal in terms of that. But that 300,000 that we're saying that maybe one of the 17 fucking vice presidents like Steph is saying that we have, bro, put that money elsewhere. We can easily divide our funds up better, or put that towards a modalidade. 300,000. I feel like that's 300,000 in the women's game. That's a lot of fucking money. And we can actually maybe compete with Benfica and Braga in the women's game if if we're smart about this shit.
The women's game, it's not only in the ladies' footy. It's futsal.
It's for all the ladies.
all the ladies they've been spanked. The only modality the ladies actually shine was track and field
Yeah.
and volleyball. They won the cup of Portugal and rugby.
Mhm.
Besides that, everything else they got spanked and abused because Benfica pays a little bit more. And I get it; it's a good strategy by Benfica. Look at Benfica; they're losing their best player, Chloe. Chloe's just going to Arsenal,
Mhm.
and there's nothing they can do because they're going to double her salary. But Benfica pays a little bit more to soccer players, and they have the best soccer players in Portugal.
Yeah, and it's profitable after that too, right? So, anyways, last thing on this, I think Dave brings up a good point when we mentioned the Sugu and the likes. Having a B team in the third division is no good because when you throw them up to the first division, basically they're missing out on Liga 2.
Yeah, our B team's a fucking waste of space. I'll say it right now.
It's not. It's a waste of space because they're in the third. That's why it's a waste of space.
Well, they have a U23 team and a B team. Like, which one would you realistically
The thing
say
is,
more important?
and
The B
that's what I was
team,
gonna
the B
get.
team.
Take
The
care of the
U23
U23
teams
teams.
are
You have
Bruno-
junior teams.
Bruno Carvalho gave a perfect last fuck you to Sporting when he
I agree
diminished the B
agree with
team
Chris.
and got a U23.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steph.
I agree with Chris. The U23 is a waste of fucking time. That's why they call it's not even called uma liga do sub-23 campeões. It's called Liga Revelação. That says it all. A revelation league. It means nothing.
Here's the truth of the U23. Sporting fought for it as a coach because the B team got relegated out of the second division, but it was before they made Liga 3 a serious league and reformatted it to make Liga 3 like pretty good and like a semi-professional.
Liga 3 is
league.
actually hella entertaining.
Yeah, it used to be the Campeonato
Yeah.
Nacional, which is
It's more
amateur.
fun than fucking first division.
The third division used to be amateur. Now it's semi-pro. So it was just cope because they wanted to make a team because the other one was relegated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That-
now,
you
but now
You
Liga
have a
3
B
exists,
team.
so you could delete Sub 23.
Delete your
you
fucking B team
space.
or your 23 team. You have enough junior teams anyways.
Yeah,
like-
I mean, like Estoril Praia wins it and shit, and it's like, what youth players do they even have? Like,
No one gives any relevance to that stupid league. That's why it's called Liga Revelação.
Leis Soares is a good team. It's like, bro, like,
Bro, it's the
It's a
fucking it's the class of the Liga of league.
Yeah, it's
fucking
it's not for players. They don't fit in under 19. They don't fit into the B team. Oh, we have a place for you under 23 Liga
the
Revelação.
make-believe team.
Yeah, make sure you reveal yourself in the Liga Revelação. Oh, vai pra caralho, bro.
They should call it the fucking Make-A-Wish team at this rate.
No, the scrubs. The scrubs.
The scrubs. Brutal. Just get her scrap, and it's a fucking waste of time and space. There's
money.
a couple $100K you're saving right there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
your fucking team. Like, that's that team. There's no need. There's zero need for it. You cannot. I'll die on this hill. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Sporting loan those players to first division teams, lower tier, or second division teams, lower tier, than having that under 23 team.
Yeah, because at least they're gonna be playing against like guys who are their skill level.
Come on, guys will step on them and teach them manners and how to be malicious.
Yeah. All right, back to last thing on this game. If you guys have a man of the match, Steph, I'll start with you.
The man of the match for me, yeah, the man of the match for me was Pinheiro.
How about you, Rich?
To me, it's an offside. There's nothing I can tell you.
Okay.
I'll give it to Trincao because his goal got me up off my feet, and that was a fun moment while it lasted. Because I thought he fucked up. I'm like, this fucking idiot. I'm like, oh wait, no, he didn't fuck up. He scored. He screwed up. So I'll give it to Trincao because that was a fun goal, and he's been okay. He's had his ups and downs.
He's starting to improve.
All right.
Starting to improve.
I think now having a full season and he'll get a full preseason under him. I think you'll see a bit more consistency from him. That was his thing. He was hot and cold.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys on this team.
I only worry how much the pressure is going to get to him because I feel like we'll probably sell Edwards or Pot, and so
I
he's
think we'll
going to be
sell
the
Edwards. I think
main
Pot
winger.
stays.
Yeah, I agree, but still, I think one of the two will leave, and then more pressure on Trincão, and we'll see how he lives with it.
Yeah, we have like 80,000. We have like 80,000 wingers. So like, we have so many wingers.
They all suck. After these three, they all suck.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe,
Nuno
and
Sanchez
Fatau gets put at right wing, so or right
Nuno
back. Excuse
Nuno
me.
Sanchez isn't even a natural left, like full left wing back. We just throw him
Played
in there.
well.
He played well.
A name we haven't mentioned, but I thought he did well.
Yeah. He's not a natural left. He's a natural winger. We just toss him there because we had nobody else at left wing back. So
yeah, and it's also because of how wide we play with our fullbacks. They're basically wingers, right? But yeah, my man of the match, if it was only the first 45 minutes or even 42 minutes, I would say Diomande, but that second half was so fucking horrid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Ugarte. A lot of tweets going around that, and
That's a fair
I think
choice.
James just said it too. A lot of tweets going around. He's the best player in the league. I don't think so, but I'm not gonna argue that. I'm with that.
No, he is the best player in the league. Pay us $80 million for him.
Yeah, facts. Good point, Rich. My bad. Liverpool, you listening? Best player in the league.
Best player in the league. Give us 2 bags. Don't give us the bag. Give us both the bags.
Facts. And you too, FIFA. We haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
And Chris, you're man of the match, bro.
For me, I'm gonna go as Gaio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even though he only lasted like 50 some odd minutes.
Good show.
Good shit.
Boys, we're gonna quickly just jump on the Maritimu game. That was the last game we missed out on. 11 was as followed. Adhan in net 3.9. Wowzers! I didn't even see that before.
Shades of the Marseille game.
Mateus Reis, Coates, Diomande in the back line. Artur Gomes at left wing back. Bellerin at right wing back. Pot, Ugarte in the midfield. Trincão, Paulinho, Edwards up top. Substitutions of Inácio, Nuno Santos, Morita, Fatau, and Isgaio. A game where we seen Maritimu 1-0 up early, I believe. I believe it was like the 15th, 20th minute, something like that. And then Sporting rallying back 2-1. And then a weird moments right at the end where Adhan got a red. Maritimu looked like they scored. And they didn't. Steph, I'll start this one with you. Thoughts on this game?
They would have 3-shot 2 goals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been the first time someone's done that to us this season.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone got really quiet.
I thought I was frozen on it.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, no one is smiling and shit. So, this game was actually, I thought we had everything under control, and then again we complicated towards the end. I'm not getting. I'm happy the season is over. Let's put it this way. Because it seems like we could be a team that could beat anybody, but then towards the end, we kind of forget of who we are, and we just decide to take a dump. And then this game against Maritim was just that. I mean, I really thought a perfect example. They scored 2-2, and the VAR intervened. The VAR intervened. I know I'm repeating myself because I'm doing it purposely, and they canceled the goal.
The linesman called the foul, and the ref just ignored it.
Listen, but the VAR was there to help. Okay, so why is the VAR able to help in goals against smaller teams, against a team that's going to a playoff, well, possibly second division? They still have a playoff against Stella Amadora.
I hope they go over the second division.
But it's not good enough against Benfica. You see, now we can do a comparison. The VAR intervened against Maritim, but since it's Benfica, someone with a lot of weight, let's not do it. But let's go back to this game. We won fair and square, but we suffered the end for no reason. Again, we missed too many goals, which means we don't have a good striker. and I believe we should have at least 3 good strikers. I don't think 2 strikers is good enough. But nothing more to say about this game. We won fair and square, but we a little bit of a scare towards the end because, again, silly team, silly Amorim. We can never close it the proper way.
Yeah. Rich, I'll pass off to you.
This is if someone said what's Portuguese football like, I would show them the last 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
And just say it's this. It is fucking shambolic chaos at the highest order. It was just a mess. The linesman flagged for a foul and the ref just fucking ignored him. He just didn't pay attention.
Ridiculous.
Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Did you have money on the game? Did he go into business for himself? Like, what was he doing?
But my favorite thing is the linesman flagged, and then the ref continued playing, and he acted like he didn't do that afterwards. When the Sporting players, I don't know if you guys noticed, when the Sporting players go to run to him, he's just like, they're like, oh no, I didn't.
He's like, what are you talking about? Nothing happened.
It's like, bro, what?
Like, my brother in Christ, there is a stadium, not full, mind you, but a stadium with about 30,000 people almost that saw you just not
plus cameras,
pay attention. Plus,
multiple camera angles.
Plus at least 20 or 30 cameras that showed you just not acknowledge what was going on. Wild. Brother, this
is why I really hope England pushed that the referee audios, because it's clear that Portugal only do shit if England do it.
Yeah.
So I mean the rest of the world really, but Portugal specifically.
I think the French they really
the French league also
they're starting.
I think they were the first ones actually. That's a good point.
They trialed it this season, I think, a couple times. Yeah. Where they did a few trial games. I don't know if it's confirmed they're using it for next season, but it would not shock me if they did. And that's fine. I think it's helpful because they do it in rugby already.
Not rugby. What about the NFL?
NFL, you get it. NHL doesn't because the NHL is not a.
You don't get to hear the communication though between the league office and the referee though. But he comes out and explains.
Yeah, at least he explains the call.
Yeah. They have an official explain what the call is and why they did it. NBA too. When they fuck up a play, or if there's a weird call at the end of the game, they'll come out and they'll say this was the call that was made. This is why we made the call. And if it's incorrect, they'll say, you know what? No, this call was incorrect in hindsight. This was the wrong thing. Whatever. That's fine because you know what? You're a human. You're gonna make a mistake. But for the love of God, just own up to it. I respect if you say, hey, I fucked up. It happened. Then you just sit there and try to act like you're holier than thou. That's what pisses me off by Portuguese refs.
Personally,
to acknowledge they're wrong.
Personally, for the VAR to function in Europe, it has to be international. Seriously, I'm not kidding about this. Yeah. It has to be governed by an international agency.
It can't be up to the individual national federation.
I mean, in theory, is FIFA considered an international agency?
It'd be FIFA or at the very least UEFA.
In this case, it's UEFA. FIFA has no control over the UEFA leagues, but they should create one and mix and match. It would pay off also for the referees. They'll be making a little bit more money because now they'll have they'll be elevated to a higher standard because they have to be referees in Italy, in Portugal, in France, in England.
Yeah, you might be reffing in Italy next week, and then the Netherlands next week, and then Portugal for a couple weeks, and then you might move to Spain for a week, and then you're in England for a month.
Why it's called the European Union anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, the U.S. is much bigger than Europe, and these referees they fly all over.
All over the U.S. they fly all over.
Canada too and shit like that.
Yeah, so they could do it if they really wanted to, but it's very traditional. In Portugal, some places I'm Portuguese, but why?
I don't care. I'd rather just see the right call be made.
Open your mind, because then the corruption is out the window. Well,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I think
But in practice, the biases at least. The referee is not going to be.
Preconceived biases from certain people, right?
My favorite thing that my favorite thing in quotation that annoys me about Portugal is that they won't for example they won't have a Lisbon official for Sporting Benfica games or whatever. They'll have somebody from Algarve or whatever,
or Queen
or North or whatever. as if it fucking matters. Like,
Yeah, I
Portugal
know.
isn't made up of just
Difference.
3 clubs, bro, for like 6% of the people. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a
Yeah.
fuck? And personally, that's just me.
I mean, I would love to see it. It's all about the integrity, and then I think a lot of referees they still lack of integrity, to tell the truth.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And that's a good point you bring too, Steph, because then that makes like the standard of refereeing the same across all leagues. It's not going to be different between, Portugal and then Holland, so that when a Portuguese team plays a Dutch team, one thing I've noticed with Sporting in Europe is we're always expecting calls that we're going to constantly get in the Portuguese league that it's not a thing elsewhere.
Portuguese teams are so used to anti-jogo that they expect it when they go and play other teams. Other teams like, what are you doing? Get up.
No, they're also like Portuguese teams like Sporting, Benfica, and Porto. They expect to get every call against them because they get it here at home. Whereas like it could be the softest of calls.
Different.
Yeah, exactly.
because technically, if you think about it and then you say, okay, I am just a Champions League fan. I only watch games from the Champions League. That's what you see on every game.
Yeah.
Referee teams from different countries. That's what you see. You see Sporting against Arsenal. Who was the referee from the last game? Maybe from Germany. I don't remember.
I think it was a German guy actually for one of the games.
Was he? Okay, there it is.
I think it was a German for at least one of the games.
So there it is. It's happening now. So it could really happen if they wanted to. The problem is they don't want to. And that's what it is. They just don't. If they really wanted transparency, the audio.
To be fair, James, I think they do have a system of promotion and relegation for the refs.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
The point system they have going.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work that well because you still have the same bullshit.
Well, I mean, just because you're at the top, you could still be just the best of the shitty, right? You know?
Yeah.
Who's the best I feel like the best Portuguese ref is Pinheiro or some shit. Or Suarez.
He's definitely in the top 3.
Diaz or up there.
That's right. Yeah, he was.
Or no, the other guy that we always get.
Arturo Suarez Diaz got a great note, and he could ref the Conference League final, right?
Who's the guy we always get?
Verissimo, I think.
It's a good thing they came up with the Conference League cup, so referees can actually be part of it.
Be part of big competitions.
Yeah. They had a Portuguese ref for the fucking Real Madrid City first leg, and they had nothing but complaints. I'm like, I'm so happy the rest of Europe gets to see the bullshit we put up with.
Yeah, and then UEFA was like, actually, he had a great game.
And I'm like, no, he fucking didn't. Did you watch the same game as I did?
Yeah, there was a goal that probably should have been disallowed at the minimum.
Minimum.
Quickly back to this Marítimo game. I just wanted to get one last opinion.
Nobody wants to talk about it, really.
Do we have to?
But no. Just one quick thing. One quick thing, and it's about Adan. I'll start with you, Chris.
Oh,
I mean, the goal ended up getting disallowed. So, do you think it was correct in giving him the red card? And then, what did you think about the debacle afterwards of us trying to basically get the red card rescinded or whatever?
It didn't matter because what did the fuck?
I mean, I think that I guess I'm okay kind of with him getting the yellow at first because he does like get in the ref's face. But the thing is, the ref did not keep that criteria because there are because like as we would know, right, within 5 minutes this would escalate to be crazy, and making the players are like a lot of people are touching the referee, and the standard of if you touch me you're getting a yellow was not continued. Otherwise, there'd have been like 10 players who got yellows.
Yeah,
there's guys getting kicked out every game.
So then I review it, and I'm like, he's the only one that got a yellow? Like, no, I don't think he should have gotten it. But I actually would have made more sense if he started just kind of handing him out, then everyone would have chilled out, to be honest. But just because the goal got overturned, I don't think that should have canceled out the yellow because the yellow wasn't related to the play. It was unrelated to the play, you know? So I can see why it was upheld. He tried to argue that on the field, like, oh, it should be canceled now because the goal got ruled out. But yeah, I think that the ref, like, I don't think he handled it well, but I think he at least made like the correct decision to not rescind it.
I think there needs to be some sort of rule there. If you make the wrong decision and the player freaks at you and you get a card for it,
everybody gets one.
You should take it away. I feel there should be a rule on that.
I mean, he could have, if he wanted to take it away, he could have done it. but it takes like a strong character, and our referees don't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just they don't have the cojones to say and use the common sense. You know what? We fucked up. It should have been a foul. I'm gonna withdraw the yellow card. They just don't have it in Portugal. They
don't. Portuguese refs hate to admit
they
when they're
too
wrong.
into themselves. They have a strong personality that won't allow them to step down. I've seen it in the NBA. Referees saying, "Hey."
NHL's the worst. NHL refs fucking don't agree with the games. They're NHL refs. If you're looking for a comparable Portuguese refs, they just call guys for the sake. There's a ref on tape who literally just got fired. The reason he got fired was because he got caught on a hot mic going, "Yeah, I just wanted to call a penalty on them to fuck them early on." Literally on like mic. So the NHL had to stop actively miking up their guys for broadcasts like TNT and TBS broadcast and shit because that one guy. I'm like, every ref does it. He's just the one dipshit who got caught. That's what happens in Portugal. Don't tell me that doesn't happen to some extent in Portugal sometimes. Like they just don't want to admit they're wrong and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm sticking by my call."
Yeah. Not to shit on Portuguese people, but have you met how stubborn Portuguese people are?
That's fine. Trust me, I know. I'll die.
I love my people, my ancestors, but full of this.
Buddy, do you know how many stupid hills I'm willing to die on? Like, believe me, I know.
My father was telling me, this happened the other day. When you buy me, because I'm gonna buy him a phone here in the US. He wants an iPhone 8, and in Portugal apparently they don't sell them anymore. So I said, I found you a phone for 114. He said, okay, great. Make sure it's unblocked. Like, make sure it's not blocked. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? The block and then unblocked. That shit doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I went online and they said, buy the phone unblocked for 114. I'm like, oh fuck. That was right.
Fucker had a point.
Yeah, and I was like, caralho, pá, teimoso, português teimoso.
Well, this guy had a point. I didn't know.
But that's how we are built.
Yeah, it's in our blood.
But again, the tie against Benfica, the 2-2, they deserve the tie. Don't get me wrong.
I predicted they were going to tie, actually. I told me that. They're not going to win. They're going to tie.
But we created enough chances of 3-0. We could have killed the game. I'm not taking away, the pressuring moments of Benfica in the second half because we gave it to them, or they earned it because he chose to play the Italian way, which we're not that good. We're not Italian. That's all.
In my opinion, I'm with you, Steph. I don't think it's deserved. I don't think that's the right word. I think we deserve to win this game. We did more than enough. That first half especially, total domination.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second half, even though we fucking parked the bus, we should have scored a counter.
But
you know what I mean? I've seen Mourinho do it a million times.
The fucking bus because we don't have a good enough team for that. We don't have a good enough team.
I agree. I agree that we shouldn't have parked the bus because we don't have that team for that. We have a team that loves possession, so we should have looked more for possession. I'm with you. But a winning team, I look at Mourinho and what they fucking did against Leverkusen, for example, and what they're gonna do in the Europa League final. A winning team knows how to fucking drop the blocks and just defend them.
And Jose Mourinho plays he's the coach of what? An Italian team.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's done that with almost every team he's played with to some extent. I think that it's funny because I saw multiple discussions with mutual people that we all follow on Twitter saying, how come for every Portuguese person, we rip on every Portuguese coach for trying to play defense when they win. Like for instance, we ripped on him even though we did get results for a bit. It's like, but Mourinho, we give a pass. Like, I don't know, because Mourinho's kind of funny at least.
No, because Mourinho wins too.
And Mourinho wins way more than the average Portuguese coach. So we're willing to give him the pass because he's at least proven with if he has a say and he builds the team, it works.
Yeah.
Whereas every other Portuguese coach has, outside of Euro 2016, has pretty much failed at that type of fucking structure of let's just play defense. Like Carlos Queiroz played with 4 center backs at the 2010 World Cup. He lined up a game with Pep, Bruno Alves, Ricardo Carvalho, and Ricardo Costa. Like you had one of them playing midfield, and we still fucking drew or tied. I'm like, bro, how sway? like every Portuguese coach has ever tried it outside of Mourinho has failed miserably, or at the very least had very limited success. So that's why we give. That's why I think to answer some of those people, we give him the pass.
Fair. Let me quickly run through some transfer rumors. We're not going to get too into it. I think the last podcast will have everybody here, so I think that's more appropriate on us talking about transfers and
because we're going to be wrapped up the season.
The last game season.
But let me just mention them. Fatau possibly going to Rio Ave seems very likely, at least more. It was a lot last week of the murmurs. Piatek, even though today there was a report saying that we're not interested in him, his name keeps on coming up in the media. Scary hours.
They could do better than Piatek.
Exactly. Bellerin, Luis Neto, and John Lucas of Monaco to be decided soon. And there was one more that I wanted to mention. I mean, in terms of modalidade, João Matos. Ugarte, of course, linked heavily to Liverpool, also to Villa. Pot's name still is out there. Sporting declined 10 mil for Nuno Santos for Nice. Bellerin, speaking of Bellerin, champion of Spain. Probably the only person with a trophy in that team this year.
Got to shout out in their victory speech. Good for him.
Facts from Busquets. And the one that I wanted to discuss with all of you guys that I forgot to mention in the Benfica game, I want to know all your guys' opinion on the invasion that Benfica had. Kind of for our own fault from the sausage. Selling tickets to Benfica fans, though at a price, at a premium, which I'm not mad at. Get your money.
Get back.
I heard it was like $250 for some of these tickets. Fair enough. But I want to know your guys' opinion on that. There was RTP, I think it was, or Seek was saying there was fans leaving the stadium because around them where they sat for years, it was just Benfica fans and they didn't want any issues. Steph, as the Tuga here, as the true Tuga here, what's your thoughts on that?
As a Tuga that's Americanized, so I know both sides of the house. To me, it's okay.
I've been going a lot of away games recently, to be fair.
I'm with Steph on this.
I've only been going to away games recently because since I've been living in New York almost.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's different
here than it is there because people in Europe take things too far.
I mean, let's put it this way: you a season holder ticket, you buy the tickets for it. You're Eagles fan. You're an Eagles fan. You buy a ticket for the whole season. You buy your seat.
That's your spot.
New York Giants. There's a waiting list to buy a licensed seat.
And same with the Eagles. The Eagles have a waiting list.
They pay like $15,000. It's book of money. So they know how to make money, but they can sell their tickets. And there's nothing the Eagles can do because it's
people do it all the time. They buy a season ticket, but for the games they can't go to, they
sell it. Want. And the club shouldn't really be upset, or the fans shouldn't be really upset because I already paid the club the money.
Yeah, they've already got the money.
If I want to make money out of it, it's none of your fucking business to tell the truth. I get it, because if it's me and Chris sitting next to each other and Richard, next to me too.
It's just like, should you as a sporting fan, like, be willing to
next to me, I'll be like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like no one gives a shit if you sell your ticket to an Extra Deal fan, but it's like a Benfica fan,
Yeah.
But
just before they're about to win the title too, potentially.
Yeah, at the same time, it wasn't that bad. I saw much more green than red.
For sure.
Yeah, I saw that little section of Benfica 2,500.
And it kind of extended out a little bit because the ones that were unticketed just kind of went to that area. Or uncaged just kind of grabbed.
I got to give the cops. They did a pretty good job of controlling everything. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a big fan of Ultra fans. I'm just not. I don't think they're necessary in football. Ultras, they just want to... chaotic. They want to fight before the games, after the games, and I don't think we need ultras. I'm not a big fan of ultras.
To be fair, I think a lot of the like the guy who was like kicking people in the stand, like I don't think that guy was an ultra. I literally
you think he's just an asshole.
Yeah,
he was just an asshole.
Yeah.
Look at my family. My family is a split. My wife is Benfica.
Yeah.
My son is Portuguese. My daughter is Benfica. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. But I've told my wife and kids we're never gonna watch a Sporting Benfica game because it's almost impossible.
Because there's people in Portugal, and it's you're right. It's not the same as in Canada or the States.
No.
People there take things too far.
Yeah.
And that's always been my biggest thing with ultras and ultra culture. I love when the ultras are making an awesome atmosphere and they're singing and jumping and clapping.
That's different.
But I don't. The thing that people always forget is the dipshits that take things too far and decide, I'm going to start a fight. I'm going to throw shit on the field and almost hit a guy with a flare. I'm going to rip up a seat in the stadium because fuck you. That's why. That's my problem with the ultras.
At the beginning of the game, you see the Benfica fans and the Sportingista fans. Clocks, it's the same shit.
It's
by the way,
all
they get into the section and they start insulting people. You know, by the way, for no fucking reason. You know?
Yeah.
The Sporting Clocks is the same thing when they go to lose. It's not any different. Super Drago is the same thing. But why? Why? Why is that necessary?
Yeah.
I'll never understand that. I will.
Like we got my dad. My parents are big hockey fans as well. My mom's a Montreal Canadiens fan. My dad's a Boston Bruins fan. Like that's like a Sporting Benfica rivalry in North America. They hate each other. We got them tickets to a game at the Bell Center in Montreal for her birthday. That was her birthday gift, and we dropped a bag on her, so she knows we love her. But they were sitting amongst like Montreal fans and Boston fans, and like there was no issues. Like everybody got along. So it can be done. It's just some people want to be assholes,
and it's all mixed. There's no problem, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you guys. I agree. By the way, speaking of the fans, Steph, did you? I know these two for sure have seen it. Have you seen the fan just before the Sporting Benfica game, the Sportingista, who showed his ass to the Benfica ultras? What a legend! Sorry, just have to mention that. You just made me remember that when you were mentioning
it's funny, but it was kind of funny. But at the same time, you know, I mean, you
didn't need to be his ass.
And kids and your nephews, your aunt, your grandma.
Yeah. The kid looked no older than 18, but you know what I mean? That shit killed me.
Couldn't have been like Maggie Crusader or somebody.
Personally, I don't think any club should give any percentage of tickets to any of the other clubs. We own the stadium. We do whatever we want to fuck do with our stadium. I'm not going to give you tickets, and I'm not expecting you to give me tickets too. All it creates is confusion. So, and then fines, and a lot of fines. I mean, again, I think Sporting paid a total of
but
$400,000 in fines.
But Sporting gets fines for fucking insulting our own president. How is that fair? How is that a fine?
It's not fair because in Portugal, it's a bunch of lunatics. I don't know who came up with this law that if I insult my president, I'm Sportingista. I'm insulting him. We're going to get a fine? What the hell?
What did we do to you? We didn't do anything to you. Like, we did it to ourselves. Fuck you. Like,
they're making money.
Yeah. It's all a money laundering scheme at the end of the day.
You know
that's all it is. It's a money laundering scheme.
You know how much it is per yellow card? It's $250.
Yeah.
A red card is $500.
Fuck, I'd be making sure everybody had at least a card by the end of the game. I'd be giving you a card for looking at me the wrong way.
If I'm a Proença and Danny was the referee, Danny, estão tu Danny, vai buscar 150 amarelos, aqui está a tua comissão.
Say less.
Here's your bonus. Here's your bonus.
Yeah, buddy. If I was a ref and I knew that, I'd be making sure I'd be giving the whole bench a yellow card.
I'm a company man. Hell yeah.
I'd have a yacht by mid-season.
These fans are a joke. It's like even when our fans go to Rio Ave and they misbehave, instead of making Rio Ave that's responsible for the stadium, they have to pay for security. We still pay fines. Yeah. It's like Sporting didn't tell these fans to go to the fucking stadium. Why is Sporting paying these fines? I don't get it. The
fine should be up to the host, whoever the host club is, unless it's something really egregious. Yeah, unless it's something really egregious, it's up to the host team. In my opinion,
beef up security. Then I don't know what to tell you. Mm-hmm. I don't see the Yankees paying penalties for Red Sox fans misbehaving.
You don't have that kind of shit here. But then again, you don't have people doing that type of shit here very often.
Toronto FC fans and Montreal fans got into a fight like 2 weeks ago. No fines. No fines are handed out. Just love, just passion. And a Toronto FC
passion. They kicked them out of the stadium. Go fight outside.
That's exactly what they did.
That's exactly it. That's all that's needed.
Go play.
One TFC fan threw something at a player at the end of the game, and I think that guy got banned for life too, Danny.
Yeah, that's true.
The clubs in Portugal will be struggling, and the solution is to give them fines and give them fines.
Yeah, let's fine the shit out of these teams.
One time, Vitória got fined for someone outside the stadium versus Moreirense using fireworks.
Oh fucking way! Actually, yeah, I believe that. I believe that. 100%.
I mean, the five of us could put Benfica jerseys and make a big fucking fuss. And we find some Benfica.
That might be the play. That might be
true.
the galaxy.
That might be a smart move to make.
That might be a smart move.
It's stupid. I don't agree.
But that would entail us having to put on Benfica jerseys.
My skin might burn off though. But
it's like at the pavilions. Why do you have to give X amount of tickets to our rivals, and vice versa? It creates a lot of potential fights. It should be the club owns the pavilion. No, we're not going to give you any. We're not expecting you guys.
We're just putting it on sale, general public, whoever buys them buys them.
That's fair, but I also think it creates a problem. It creates more hostility. Like in Turkey, for example, only Fenerbahce fans can go to derbies. Like if a Beşiktaş fan goes in there, one, you're asking to die.
Yeah.
But two, it's just not allowed. I don't know how the inner workings around it, but it's just not allowed. And I think that's what causes a lot of the hostility. So I'm for what the Sporting Sausage did. I mean, fair enough.
It happens in North America all the time anyway.
It shows Portugal, and maybe this is credit to even this administration because I know that they've been trying to push this for a while. It shows Portugal that fucking have rival fans around. We're all watching and supporting our team. So long as we do it in a respectful manner, all is good. Because when I was 19 or 20, now I can't remember, but I believe I was 19 years old. I went to the Stadio Luz to watch Benfica tie against Sporting 1-1. And going in there was a struggle. Coming out was even worse. My boy got slapped in the back of the head. He was wearing a Braga jersey.
And bros at the wrong
shit game. Like that. I don't know. He's confused, to be fair.
I'll say.
And, but at the end of the day, it's like, bro, that doesn't happen in many other countries aside from Portugal. Bro, you go to England and a Liverpool fan can walk amongst United fans. It's not an issue, and that's probably the biggest rivalry.
But it took a while for them to be that way.
They had a big hooligan for years.
In the 80s and the 90s, it wasn't that way.
Of course. I'm not saying otherwise.
A change of culture, but Portugal will never be that way because first of all, it's like we said before, it's Sporting Benfica Porto. That's all.
There's no want for them to just change the culture, right?
Yeah.
They need the people at the top need to also want to have change, and they're all content.
They don't even know how to make money, and we've spoken about this several times. Os Javalá thinks it's Javalá. They could have Prudential saying, "We'll pay you $20 million a year to call Prudential," and they'll say no because it has to be called Javalá.
How much do I have to pay to call it the Richard Nevis Stadium? Just sponsored by me.
It's a no-brainer. We need money. Why would it matter? But you speak to a Portuguese from Portugal. Vocês são americanos, não percebem nada desta merda que isto aqui é portuguesa. And I'm looking at him like,
you're leaving so much money on the table, though. Like
even the pavilion's name, they finally put the name Cristiano Ronaldo there, which is a great name, but we're not making money out of him.
No.
It was a gift to him.
He's gonna come. That's why.
It, but we could have, have like an insurance company or whatever paying up for their name.
Fuck, have it be the Superbox Stadium of fucking fantastic shit. I don't care what you call it. You're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, I give up to trying to make sense with Portuguese European soccer because, like that's Portugal. They should have like in the Super Bowl like a show.
A halftime show. They do a bit of a show before the game, but.
José Cid, vocês sabem José Cid.
You're asking for a halftime show across the Portugal
Stadium.
You're getting 15 minutes of Jorge Pereira.
They put cheerleaders. They should be going to Jack LaLanne or caralho.
Estádio do Continente, bro.
Pindados Stadium.
But anyways,
Pindados.
let's lastly move on to Modalidades. Like I mentioned, João Mach renewed his contract.
Yeah.
Since the last time we spoke, we discussed
finals.
the Champions League loss.
Yeah, this is what's happened since. So handball basically blew the title by losing to Porto by 1. So now they are up by 1 point on us. I think there's 2 games left. So basically just need them to choke. They probably won't. I think one of our 2 games left is a hard game. Benfica, maybe?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're fucked in handball probably.
Yeah.
Hockey swept the quarterfinals 2-0, and now they're up 1-0 in the semi against Barcelos. Basketball swept Lusitania 2-0 in the quarterfinals, and now they're up 2-0 against Porto as of today in the semi. So one more win.
They'll be in the final.
I mean, also they're up 2-0 in both games are in Porto, so now they're coming home. Just need
We're
to
going
win
back
one game.
to Lisbon now, yeah.
Yeah, so just need to win one in the final. Futsal swept the first round as well, and now they are in the semis and have played no games yet, and they're going to play Leões Porto Salvo.
Yeah.
And then, that was it. Ladies finished their season. They finished second. That was already determined. They played their last game last weekend.
They won 4-0.
Yeah, and I think that's it, right? Anything else, Steph?
No, like you said, just to confirm with you guys, the next game for handball, it's against Benfica at home. And then, just to make it fun, Porto plays against Vitória, easy game for them. And then the last game of the season will play against Maya, which we should be able to win it. And
But then you're still dependent on Porto.
Porto plays against Madeira SAD, which they've been playing good at home, but I don't see Porto losing against them. Yeah. So I think, of course, there's a big thing that you forgot, Chris. The ladies rugby in 7, they were champions of Portugal. That's a big deal. I mean, they have a small budget in comparison to all the other modalities, and they still pulled it off because Benfica, they beefed up their ladies. And and I know people will make fun of this, but I'll say the table tennis will become champions as well.
Fucking let's go.
Hey, that's all we have, Ken.
That's all we got. We got things we can get.
I'm not thinking paintball we might win.
Paintball. Oh, okay.
That's it. We won individual.
We got paintball. I've been begging for a darts team for like 5 years.
Hey,
We
listen.
do have paintball. Nuno Gabriel got a paintball jersey.
I saw Nuno Gabriel got a paintball jersey. I was like, what in the world?
Respect.
I didn't even know
They
they
should
sold
come
them.
up with a Matraquilhos tournament. Seriously. I'm not
I'd be
kidding.
pro. No, I wouldn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and then we would have international teams like me and Chris. We're from Philly, so we play in Canada against you guys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fucking let's go.
I'm pretty good at Matraquilhos. Get out.
That wasn't bad.
I'm
We had it in my high school cafeteria, so we would all play.
I have it
That
home.
was okay.
I have it home.
I have it in my parents' house too.
Okay, never
I have
mind. Rich,
the-
I hope you're good, bro.
Sporting
I have no clue what we're talking about.
Football.
Gitoni.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Like the
That's
table soccer.
The table soccer. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, I bought it from Portugal. It cost me like $700. They shipped it and everything.
Holy.
Yeah.
What's the teams though? Is it red against green? or
Mine's
and
red
blue?
against blue, so I guess it's
Most
Porto.
of them are red and
ours,
blue.
Ours growing up was red against blue, I'm pretty sure.
And mine is Sporting. I'll show it to you guys. Mine's is Sporting Benfica, of course, because my
Yeah.
wife is Benfica.
Is it custom kits?
Yes, I'll show it to you
Oh,
guys.
sweet.
So I'm gonna get out because then the echo will fuck it up.
Yeah. Sick. While we wait for that, boys, let's lastly just plug it again. Actually,
giveaway.
There you go, guys. Look.
Oh, that's a nice table, actually. That's really nice.
Yeah. See, look. Sporting.
He's got the stripes and everything. Oh,
That's
nice,
sick.
guys.
Hey,
That's sweet.
Yeah.
It's in
I got
pristine
the-
condition, too.
The balls.
Nice.
Yeah, it's brand new. I mean, I use it with American friends. They come over here, and then I have to teach them the rules.
Yeah.
They start playing roulette. They say, "No, it's not roulette. It's caralho. You just have to get the ball. You're gonna break my shit." Oh, okay. I didn't know this shit is rules.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
know.
rules.
Yeah, that shit costs money, bro.
That's
And then they really get into it too. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
shit.
People can get competitive about anything.
Yeah, I have some bizarre friends. I have a couple that's from Honduras, Carlos and Suyapa, great friends of ours. Then I have Tim and Jennifer, background is Italian. Then I have Michelle and Trip, American Italian too. Trip he's a white boy, but very diverse.
He's a manji cake.
Yeah, dynamic friends. It's of course my best friend is George Oliveira, but I haven't seen him in a while actually. So you know.
so yeah.
Oh shit, we're talking about the podcast.
That's okay.
Last little bit here. Again, we're gonna
No,
plug it
good.
away wherever the fuck I put it. I think I put it here, but it's in our
Hey,
notes.
watch your fucking language.
Hey, fuck you, man. Guys, subscribe. Yeah, I've been saying foda-se and caralho. And
Yeah, I know. We've only been swearing this whole
that
show.
was the best backstage fucking put together video. And they stopped it. I liked it better when they said caralho.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Like everybody says it. We know
More
what they're
authentic.
saying.
Exactly.
All right, last plug for today. Giveaway. We're going to be giving this shirt away once we hit 1,000 subs. We are at, I want to say 968, 969, something like that. So we're inching closer. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and then take a screenshot, reply to the pinned tweet at Sporting160_EN on Twitter. The links will also be in the description for all of our social channels, including that. So please do enter. It means a whole hell of a lot.
Exactly. Dave can't wait to win this. I can't wait for Dave to win this as well.
We'll fix it in your honor, Dave. Just don't tell anybody.
But yeah, boys. Normally, I would ask for predictions on the end of the season, but we all know who's going to win it. We all know who's going down. Doesn't matter at all.
I hope Sporting wins in futsal, basketball, and okay, patins.
Yeah,
exactly. That's all that matters at this point. Big podcast coming soon, guys. But before that, last one, make sure to give Rich a follow there, Chris a follow there. Don't forget about Sam. Shout out to Sam who couldn't make it today for the after hours. Myself there, the Patron Steph. More importantly, Sporting160_EN on Twitter. And we'll see you soon. Viva Sporting.
Viva.
Viva.